What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another video today, and in this video I'm going to be discussing my plans for the Airliners International 2024 convention in Kansas City. Airliners International 2024 is just around the corner, June 26th through 29th. That means on the day that this video is coming out, which is going to be Tuesday, June 25th, the convention officially begins tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow, Wednesday, June 26th. The day is almost here. It is crazy to think that that much time has flown by since we started talking about Airliners 2024, right after the 2023 show ended in Dallas. So with this convention being in Kansas City and a little closer to home for me, I do have a lot more planned than what I have done in the last two shows, both Chicago and Dallas. So let's go ahead and take a look at my schedule, and I'll talk a little bit about each event that I'm going to be doing here and what my plans will be like. So let's go ahead and begin the day with Wednesday, and as you can see here, the first thing you'll note here is my arrival, which will be pretty routine. The first thing I'm going to be doing when I get to Kansas City, and after I get settled in and everything, I'm going to be doing the TriStar Experience Tour. Very much excited about this, as they do have an L1011 sitting at the Kansas City International Airport, and I'll go ahead and pull up some satellite imagery so I can show you where that is. So here's a look at the Jet Midwest facility. This is the broader overlook of what that is, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. But the main attraction for at least this little segment here is the TriStar Experience. So this is where it is right now, or at least in the latest satellite imagery, which is from February, so Google Earth has updated this as of recent. And not only that, but they do have a BAC 111, which is sitting right next to that, which is going to be really cool to see. So I'm going to be very excited to see how that turns out, if we get to go inside that plane, or at least get to go around it. I don't know if that aircraft is an interior still, because it has not been used for like 10 years now. The TriStar hasn't been flown since 2017, but they do use it frequently for STEM education with local school children in the area, which is really cool. So nice to see that the TriStar does have a second life. And if the weather is nice, they may do a engine startup with the RB211s that are still on this aircraft. So hopefully the weather is nice and Mother Nature will play fair. I don't know what the weather is like at the point that I'm recording this video, since it's still a little far out for me to say for sure. So that is the TriStar Experience and just a little bit about it. So very excited about that. And then the next thing that I'm going to be doing is going to be the plane spotting meetup. Connor was able to get a plane spotting meetup confirmed at the Kansas City International Airport Wednesday night from 5 to 9 p.m., which is going to be very cool to see. So very excited about that. And as I pan over, you can see the Kansas City International Airport. This is the new terminal, of course, and fortunately they do have these gates open now on the south end of the easternmost section of the terminal here. It's going to be right around the southwest corner here on the 7th level of the parking deck, so it should provide a pretty solid view of the ramp and all the airport action, and also aircraft that are landing here on, what runway is this? This is 19 right. So if we have aircraft landing on 19 right or taking off on 1 left, it should provide a pretty solid view. Now, do keep in mind it's going to be backlit because we are facing to the west and the sun sets to the west. But we're just here to have a good time and just have a great time with each other. Really is going to be the main focus of this spotting meetup, because Kansas City doesn't have many good locations for spotting anyway. So we're just making the best out of a situation, and we're just going to roll with it. And we're hoping with Airliners 2025, which the location of it should be out, and 100% it's going to be Atlanta, because they haven't announced it just yet. But the hints that have been provided, it's pretty much pointing to Atlanta. So with Atlanta, that should be a much better place for a official spotting meetup. So now as we move ahead into Thursday, we get into the real meat of the convention. And you're going to note now that the next thing you'll see is some green text. And these are the seminars I'm going to be attending. This will be a first for me, and I'm very excited to attend my first ever seminars at the Airliners International Convention. Now, I do want to clarify one thing real quick about the seminar, since there has been some questions as to what we can and cannot do with them. Unfortunately, we cannot film the seminars. The World Airline Historical Society is going to be filming them, and they will upload videos to their YouTube channel. However, we are still free to talk about the seminars, our reactions, our thoughts, etc. And that's what I'm going to be doing with these seminars. I'm not going to make a video on like each individual seminar unless I have like really in-depth thoughts on each one. So we'll see how that goes. But I imagine that my initial plan right now will be to just make videos on all the seminars under one video. But if I do have some really in-depth thoughts, and I imagine that for one of them I probably will, there is a good chance that each seminar will get its own individual video. So we'll see how that turns out, and I'll be sure to keep you guys updated. You'll note that there will be day one of the convention as well, which is going to be very straightforward with how it's been for the last couple of years. And then the next seminar I'm going to be attending, I forgot to mention the seminar there that I was going to be attending first. It's going to be Tom Livesey's The Jumbo's Double Nickel. The 747 turns 55. Then, according to the website, it says, quote, a fascinating look back of Boeing's commitment to build the world's first jumbo jet as it struggles with the faltering world economy, the SST program, space contracting for Apollo, and deliveries of the Boeing 707, 727, and 737 for airline customers. So that should be a very exciting seminar. I look forward to hearing about the history of the 747. And I move into the next seminar that I'm going to be attending. It's going to be Todd Michaels with his Gemini Jets from Conception to Flight seminar. Now, with me being a big model aircraft collector, this is a must-do for me, so I have to do this one. This will be the first time that he is doing a seminar, and this is what the website says for the description. Quote, from the drawing board to the finished product, you'll learn how Gemini jets are made, marketed, and moved to retailers around the world. We'll share tips to care for your models and keep your collection valuable. Plus, door prize raffles, which is going to be very cool. And I did see that there is a vendor that's going to have like $5 off coupons at this seminar, so I may pick up one of those, and perhaps I'll buy another model that I probably shouldn't, because we all know how well that goes with that kind of stuff. So that'll be very exciting. And then we'll have the welcome reception. Now, originally they did not have a welcome reception confirmed for the longest time, but thankfully that has recently changed. The welcome reception is going to be John Jameson. He'll be presenting the Kansas City, a history of the airliners and airports in the heartland. There'll also be a special film presentation, and this is taking place at the Osage Ballroom inside the Hilton Kansas City Airport Hotel at around 6 p.m. Thursday evening. So we'll be looking forward to that, and it'll be a little bit different from the last two welcome meetings that we've had. Chicago was the baseball game between the Milwaukee Milkmen and Chicago Dogs, and then last year's was the Harvest Hall excursion, which was like a food court place just north of DFW in the town of Grapevine. So looking forward to that, and I'll be excited to see how that turns out, and obviously that will get its own video. And then we move into Friday. We have day 2 of the convention, of course, and then we have another seminar that I'm going to be attending. This is Joe Crawford with Maximizing the Benefits of Frequent Flyer Programs. This is a seminar I'm going to attend because I do want to travel a lot as I get older and, I accumulate more money so that I can travel more often, because as of right now, I'm kind of in a tight spot for traveling, because I want to go to so many places, but I just don't have the time or the money to do that. And quite frankly, the amount of time I'm going to have is going to be less and less as I get older, but we'll see how that goes in about like 5 to 10 years. So this seminar was going to be, quote, chasing the dream of traveling the world through the benefits of airline promotions and frequent flyer programs, understanding and navigating the challenges of earning free travel as an airline enthusiast and adventure seeker, and the true stories of how to maximize enjoyment of the journey along the way. So this will basically talk about just what these frequent flyer programs are like, and this may even encourage me to go for one of those or maybe a couple of those, but I'll have to see how that turns out. But very excited to hear about what these frequent flyer programs are about, like the Delta Sky Miles or the A Advantage and all that fun stuff. That's going to be very cool to hear about from a more in-depth perspective. And then I'll move into the Jet Midwest Tour, which is going to be right after that. And I'll go ahead and pan back over to the Jet Midwest facility, which you saw with the TriStar experience. It's basically like right next door, so I imagine we'll pass right by the TriStar experience as we go visit this, but again, I don't know the exact layout of how they're going to do the Jet Midwest tour, because I imagine we'll go inside like the hangars, which is up at the top of the screen there, and we may even check out the boneyard that they have. I mean, look at all the planes that they have in this imagery. I see some 747s, there's a couple Japan 777s in there, there's some Air New Zealand 777s, yeah, a lot of 777s here. There's even an Eastern 777, which I believe they are being refurbished, and they are being used by Eastern, which is really cool, and I know Gemini has done one before, so perhaps if I do see one flying, I may have to pick one up at the convention. We'll see what happens. And there's also another Air New Zealand 777, the Black Fern livery right there, which is looking really nice. And I think they got they have a couple 727s there, which is pretty cool. So hopefully that's all the same when we get there, but I imagine that the aircraft that they do have there has changed a little bit. They also have a Las Vegas Sands 747 SP that has just gone to Jet Midwest, which is going to be really cool. So hopefully we'll get to get up close with that aircraft, because I'm going to be very excited to see my first 747 SP. And then moving along with the seminars, the next one I'm going to be attending is going to be Jared Myko. I don't know how to say that last name. I apologize if I mispronounced that. This is about aircraft dispatchers. Who are they, and what do they do? And from the website, this says, quote, "Come learn what aircraft dispatchers do and what role they play in each and every commercial flight. We'll discuss a day in the life, duties, and responsibilities, and what qualifications are needed to embark upon this career." This is just an interesting seminar to me, and I just kind of want to hear, the behind the scenes of how they get these aircraft sent out, and, what goes into, just getting an aircraft sent out to a particular destination. I'm just kind of fascinated in that stuff. It's one of those things where I have like an interesting fascination for, and the aircraft dispatcher certainly fits into that category. And then the last event for Friday is going to be the Friday Night at the Props Barbecue, and I'll go ahead and pan on over to the downtown Kansas City Airport, which is where the barbecue is going to be taking place at. It's going to be down at the TWA Museum, just right down here at the southeast corner of the airport. You can see they are doing some road work on Highway 169, which runs right by. I think they have that mostly completed by now, or at least it's getting close to being completed. So I'll have to navigate through some road construction, possibly on the way down. So there's a couple planes in there. I think they have like a Lindbergh liner in there, and they have some like cockpit trainers with like 747s and MD-80s in there. That'll be pretty cool to see. So I'll be very excited to see how that turns out. And I wish they would get us inside the National Airline History Museum, but they're still having a dispute with the city about the rent and stuff, I think is what it is. I don't know the full story behind that, but evidently there are some troubles going on with the museum in the city right now. So unfortunately, that will not be accessible to us for the foreseeable future. But hopefully when we do return to Kansas City, if we ever do, maybe in like 20 years, we'll be able to go inside the museum and check that out. So that's pretty much everything there hopefully with the Google Earth. Yep, it will be. I'll talk a little bit more about that a little later. And then move into Saturday, the last day of the show. We have day 3 of the convention, of course. I'll be there all day. Just Friday, I won't be there the entire time because of that Jet Midwest tour. And the last seminar I'm going to be attending is going to be Dan Goldsban's Behind the Scenes at Pacific Southwest Airlines. Quote, "Many of us fondly remember Pacific Southwest Airlines. It was a successful airline outside the regulation of the CAB, the Civil Aeronautics Board, and the model for Southwest. Why, then, did it disappear with so many others? Let's look behind the scenes to find some clues. They may surprise you." So this is going to be very interesting to see how PSA worked and how they operated, so I'll be excited to hear how that airline operated. And then we'll have the banquet dinner, of course, and they have had the banquet dinner speaker confirmed for a little while now, and if you've seen the AI 2024 preparation series over on Connor's channel, you'll be well in the loop as to who the keynote speaker is. And it's going to be Noel Phillips in search of the Yak-40 and other aircraft from the former Soviet Union. So I'm going to be very excited to hear about what he has to say, and obviously a big YouTuber within the aviation community that I do check pretty often. Or not really often, but I do check it every so often. We'll have to watch a few more of his videos before Airliners just so I can kind of get familiar with how he structures a video and perhaps how he may structure the speech, just so it's a little easier for me to follow along, all that good stuff. So I'll be excited to hear about some Soviet aircraft I'm not exactly familiar with. The Yak-40 I'm not really familiar with at all, so I'll be excited to hear what that's going to be all about. And then on Sunday, of course, that'll be the end of the convention. I will have a special announcement on that day, and you will see exactly what that entails. You may have to check out someone else to see what their plans may be. So if you can put 2 and 2 together, you may start to be able to formulate an idea as to what could be happening later on. And that will do it for this Airliners 2024 schedule video. Very excited about Airliners International. It is coming up. A very special episode of Retro Reviews will be out tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. Central Time, just like all my other videos, which will go over a model that does fit the theme well for Kansas City. So very excited for that to come out, and you'll be hearing a lot more about this convention. I'm sure I'll have a couple shorts posted during the convention as well. That is my plan, because I do want to use that format a little more since I have been kind of lackluster on that. So hopefully I can get back into the groove of posting some shorts every so often, just so we can have some more unique content on the channel. And in addition, we'll see what other videos come out. But again, there's going to be a lot of videos coming out. The TriStar Experience, Jet Midwest, all the events, the seminars, the convention itself. I may do vlogs for each day. My goal is to try and film much more footage this time around than I did last time, just so I can have some some more content to work on, and hopefully we can get that all taken care of as we move past Kansas City. And on to 2025's Airliners show, which will hopefully be in Atlanta. I think the announcement will be out by the time this video comes out, but it's pretty much all but confirmed to be Atlanta, knowing what Airliners has said themselves. Look for many widgets, and widget is obviously the name of Delta's iconic livery. Delta's main hub is Atlanta, so you put 2 and 2 together, and I think it's pretty easy to tell where 2025 is going to be. So, with that being said, that is the end of the video. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next video.